So good evening, everyone. Once again, um, Yinka, this is us saying happy birthday to you. We pray that God will continue to bless you and continue to enrich you. Without wasting much of our time again, today my name is Choma Claire Oka from a data analyst, and that's just my beautiful face there. And then today we're going to be looking at syncing slices and drill-through in Power BI, understanding the use of buttons in Power BI, optimizing report for mobile view in Power BI, and then finally we're going to publish our report on the Power BI service. But before we continue, I was thinking of something, and instead of just jumping right in to start working on what we have for today, we're going to do a recap of what we've been doing so far. And what I mean by that is I deliberately did not plan any reports available. So what it means is that we're going to start from the scratch to bring in our file and move from understanding our data to doing a little bit of cleaning, that is if there is any, and then bring it into our Power BI desktop and do one or two visuals, and that is when we can now start to work with what we have for today. I think it's going to be kind of a good way to also refresh our memories on what we've done so far. And I'm going to be working with the same data set we worked with the last time, which is the sales data set here. So I will jump right in and start immediately. Now, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask your questions. If I'm going at the points, you can drop it on the chat, and I'm sure somebody will draw my attention if I don't say it on time. And then I will try my best to answer all our questions as we continue. So for today, I am going to start right away. What I'm trying to do, and just to refresh our memory, we understand that in Power BI we have three parts. And so this class is also going to be interactive, so I would urge you guys to please also cooperate with me. If I ask questions, try as much as possible to answer so that I know that we are all following. So like we said, this is our Power BI desktop, but in addition to our Power BI desktop, we have the other parts, which is what and what can help me. Let me just be sure we're following and we're all together.
Visualization.
Okay, there's no right and wrong answer. However, that's not what I'm looking for. So let me rephrase my question.
We have Power BI desktop. We have Power BI services. Then we have Power BI mobile.
Correct. So in Power BI we have three parts, and the parts that were like three parts to it, or three, what do I call it now? We have the Power BI desktop, which is what we have open now. It's the one that you have installed that is sitting on your desktop. And then we have the Power BI online service, right? Power BI service, which is the cloud version of our Power BI, which enables us to share our files and be able to collaborate with other people. So the difference between the Power BI desktop and the Power BI online is that the desktop is just sitting on your own desktop. You do a lot of things, do all your visualization, do all your analysis, and then you need to share it. You need other people to see it, right? Now, that's why we have the Power BI service, which helps us to collaborate with others, show people what we've done. You can also still do your analysis on it. It's just the cloud of Power BI. That's the simple way to say it. And then we have the mobile. The mobile is so that even when you're on the go, you can access whatever it is on your phone. So for example, you're a data analyst in your company, and your let's say your boss is on the go, probably on transit and stuff like that, and he wants you to do a quick report, and then send it to him so that he can view. That's a very good way to share your report and let him know what you've done, and wherever he is, he can still view it and be able to assess like whatever you've done. So that's the 3 parts of the Power BI. And in data analysis generally, we have like a process, like a life cycle of how it works. And all this is like a recap. We've done all this. I remember the very first day Amarachi was here, where she was talking about how powerful the power. I think that was the power that was disturbing me today. That's Power BI and the Power Platform. They're so powerful and they can do a lot of things, right? Probably that's why they give it the name Power BI. And in data analysis, there's like a process, like a life cycle that you kind of take. So the first thing is trying to understand. First of all, you need to know your data, and knowing your data includes knowing the source of your data, trying to understand what your data is all about, and then you bring it into whatever system you want to work with. And in this case, we're using Power BI. And when you bring it in, you want to be sure that you first of all do what we call data cleaning and transformation. And that's what we did with Gloria's class, where we had to look at so most times you find that data, because when we're talking about data, most times data is anything. We all know that, right? And there are different ways of collecting data. Most of the times it could be humans collecting data, and there are bound to be errors because nobody is perfect, right? And so before you as a data analyst begin to work on that data, you want to be sure that that data is good to go. And in order to ensure that whatever you're doing is good to go, that your data set is good to go, it entails cleaning up the data and trying to transform it to make it, like to shape it to what you want it to look like before you start to do whatever you want to do. The next is the modeling and your visualization, your analysis, and then your final publishing it online and sharing your reports with every other person. So that's like a summary of what we are expected to do as data analysts every day, so that by the time you are done, when somebody is looking at your reports, they can draw a lot of insights from it, so that people that are making decisions can say, okay, based on this, what we have seen so far, we're not just talking randomly, it's based on facts, that this is what we can do with what we have. It can help us to understand what is happening in the present, help us understand what will happen going forward, and help us understand what will happen in the future. And most especially, help us understand what has happened in the past. So without wasting much time, we're going to go straight on to bringing our data. And that's where we start with our get data. And when you go through your data, like we were told before, Power BI has so many connectors that helps us to connect to different data sources. But today we're going to be looking at, I'm connecting to an Excel workbook, which is the sales data that we worked with. And yeah. I hope this is it. Yeah, sales practice, I guess that's it. Yeah. So I'm going to go in and select it. I'm trying to import my data into my Power BI. Now, before Power BI brings in any data, it takes you first to your navigator pane. This is what we call the navigator pane. And on the navigator pane, you can see the sales practice file data that we are trying to bring in. Now, you see it's showing me like a table and also showing me the sales. What I should have done is just that I'm so scared right now. I should have opened that data set for us to look at. Well, I think I might just do that because we need to understand what we're doing. Or I just don't want anything that will mess up everything that I'm doing again. So we're trying to bring in our data set, and the data set has sales. Now, if you look at this, we have table and we have like sales. Normally, Power BI looks at your data set. If it can come up, if you can see like data that are in table and rows and column, and it understands, oh, this could be a table version of your data set, it can give you options of, okay, let me bring it in as a table. Most especially, sometimes we do have our data sets coming in as tables, right? So Power BI gives you the option, oh, do you want to bring it as a table, or do you just want to bring it as a worksheet? Because I'm dealing with Excel now, it's giving me the option. Do I want to bring it as a table or as a worksheet? You can decide to bring it as a table, or you can decide to bring it as a worksheet. It's still the same thing, right? But me, I want to bring it as a worksheet. And the good thing about your Navigator pane is when you're on this pane, you can look at your data, because most times you find out that where your data source is coming from, you might have more than one data set at the same time. So you want to see, okay, this is what I want to actually bring in. I know that this is my sales data and this is what I want to bring in. So you have the opportunity to preview your data set to make sure that this is actually what you want to bring in, and then you can go ahead and say, okay, Power BI, yes, this is it. Bring it in for me. So just before you bring in your data set, you want to preview it, by simply just clicking on this, it gives you that. If that is what you want, go ahead and check it and say, yes, bring it in for me. Now, like we were told before, you don't go straight into loading it. Loading it means you just want to go straight and start working on it and analyzing and doing whatever you want to do. But best practice is to always go through transform data. And whenever we go on transform data, it means it's going to take you straight to Power Query. Power Query is the part of the whole system where we do the cleaning and transformation. Are we following? I hope I'm not talking too fast, and I hope we're following. I can't see my chat.
Yes, we are.
Okay, thank you very much. So now, yes, this is our Power Query. We are now in the Power Query, and this is our data set. I know the last time Gloria talked about we're understanding your Power Query, just an overview. This is where you have the name of the Power. You can decide to change the name of your data set. It's up to you. Whatever you are doing shows up on your applied steps. You know, these, like we all know, are the name, the columns, and the rows. So if you go through this, I know when she talked about the cleaning, one of the things we want to check out is our data type. You want to be sure that your data set is in the right data type before you continue anything you want to do. And today we are just going to do like a fast look through it. This is my order ID. This shows me that everything here is in numbers, and that's why it's in numbers. Okay, a little twist to this. Order ID, it's actually numbers. I mean, order ID can be anything. It depends on the way your company or your store or whatever it is that is gathering the data wants to label their IDs as. For some companies, they might decide to say A001, B002, like that. But in this case, for this data set, what I see is that they're using numbers. Now, it's okay to leave it as 1, 2, 3, but sometimes I don't, personally, and most times, I think that's the best thing, not to leave other IDs in particular, or setting maybe codes, stuff like that as numbers. I will tell you why. For now, I'm going to leave it as 1, 2, 3. You will see why I said so. Why sometimes it's good to just change the data type from just being numbers, because Power BI understands that once it's numbers, I should be doing some arithmetic operations on it, which includes summation and the rest, but that's not the case here. If we go to the second column, it's a date, and I see that what I have here as my data type is a date. Go to this one, which is the unit cost. I see I have like decimal, and that's why I have my data type as decimal. So this is good to go. Same as price. Order quantity, that's fine. Cost of sales, sales profits. Promotion name, you see, it's changing. It's changed now to show that it's a text. And that goes on down to the last column, and I think we are good. Now, let's try to understand our data set a little bit, just for those that were not here last time. And even if you were here last time, just let's prove further down. When you bring in your data set into your Power Query, if you look below here, I don't know if you see my cursor, where it says 21 columns and 999 plus rows. This is just giving you like just telling you what your data set is all about, what, like a summary of what. So without even having to go through these columns one by one, I know that I have 21 columns here, right? And then I know that I have 999 plus rows, but it's not exact, right? And that's because this data set seems to have over 1,000 rows, and by default Power BI will just give you a preview of your first 1,000 rows, right? So if you look at this part, it says column profiling based on top 1,000 rows. That's the default for Power BI. Assuming you want to say, okay, I want to see the whole rows and everything, you can click here and say you have an option of column profiling based on top 1,000 rows, or you want to see the entire data set. You can click on this and you will be able to preview the whole data set, which is a lot, I can assure you. If we go to our source data, you'll find out that the data set will be running into, I don't know. But even at that, if we still want to see what our data set is all about, one other nice to do is to go to your view, and under your view it gives you like you have what you call the column distribution, column profile, column quality. I want to look at my column profile, so I'm on this column which happens to be my ID column. I want to look at the column profile. I'm going to click on that, and now remember I have already changed this to tell Power BI Power Query that please change this to, let me see the whole data set. So what I can see now is that this data set, I have a total sum of 15,000 rows, right? Now, another beautiful thing about this column profile is that it's telling me for this particular column, I don't have errors. Don't forget, we're trying to clean up. And we're also trying, part of cleaning is to see if there is any error so that you can rectify that error. Also, it's telling me for this particular column, I don't have any empty cells. Now, empty cells can be dangerous sometimes, especially in a place where you need to do like summation, average in particular. If your columns are, sorry, your cells are empty, you might not get the exact answer or information on what you're looking for. So sometimes you want to look out for all these little things and be sure they are intact before you start your analysis. And then it's also just giving me an overview of what this column is. Now I'm not interested in the average because this is an ID. This is just simply telling me the different other IDs that are like different orders have been placed, and so I'm not interested with all these other ones. But these ones might be useful when it comes to maybe unit cost, price, and stuff like that. So that's it for column profile. We also have the column distribution where you have your distinct and unique values, just to understand what's happening. So looking at this now, I see I have 15,000 distinct and 15,000 unique. What it means, what it simply means here is that I do not have any number, any other ID repeating itself. So if I have 7,077, it means it only occurred once in this column. And that's why you have 15 distinct. Distinct means I don't have it occurring more than once. It's just occurring just once. Unique means, I hope I'm not mixing it up now. Unique means I hope I'm not mixing it up now. Help me out, Franca, Yinka. Distinct means it's occurring just once, means it's not repeating itself more than once, right? So so
correct.
That's what this tells me. So for this other ID, I think I can see that it was just repeating only once. Now for this place where I'm trying to see something that looks, this will explain better what I mean. So For this place that I have 52 distinct and 9 unique. 9 unique means it only occurred once. So I'm going to just a random example. 9. It means that 9 only occurred once, but 4 might occur up to 3 times. So I might have somebody that placed an order quantity of 4, maybe the ID number 1 placed 4, ID number 3 placed 4, ID number 10 placed 4. This thing means I have counted this 4 as just 1, but I'm not counting it again. And so because I have several 4s, I just have 52 distinct that were placed. But for the unique means it wasn't repeated again. So I only had 9 in the whole of this column. It wasn't repeated again. So that's what this means. Now, another thing I wanted us to look at is the column quality. It simply tells us if we have, when I was referring to errors and empty cells on your data set. If I go through this, I see that, oh, this is 100% valid, error-free, not empty. And I scroll down, it seems like the same pattern is happening. Oops. Okay, very good. So this is just it. Now another thing. I mean, sometimes you might just be in a hurry, you just want to glance through. These are kind of legends, right? Green means everything is valid. So looking at this place where you have green all through, it's telling me everything is valid. If I have an error, this part of this column will show me like the percentage of error that I have. If it's 50%, you find out that this place will just be 50% green and 50% red. Same with empty. So, but going through this, I see everything is green. That tells me my data is good to go. Now, another thing, I am done. I don't want to talk about this again. Another thing I want us to look at. I mean, I'm trying not to go because all this we've done, I'm just doing like a recap of what we've done so far, so that it's kind of to refresh our memories what we've done so far, right? Now, let's try to understand our data. So for my first column, I understand that this is the order ID. So I understand that anybody that places an order, they give it like an ID and they leave it there. Now, this is the order date, the date that the order was placed, right? They record that. Now, unit costs. My understanding of unit costs is that for every product or item, or what would I say, that was sold, there was a unit cost to it. So the original cost of that product, right? Now, price is the price of that product, how much it was sold for. Now, another thing I need to tell us is that whenever you're dealing with data set, most times you always have your metadata that tells you, that gives you information of what your data set is all about, right? Now, and that is just simply what we are doing now, right? You want to understand this data set before I start working with it. What is this data set speaking to, and how do I work with it? The order quantity tells me for this particular order that was placed, the number, the quantity, very self-explanatory. Cost of sales. Cost of sales simply tells me that this is what I'm thinking now. The cost of sales should be the unit costs multiplied by the order quantity should give me the cost of sales. This should be correct. I know the last week we did that where we had to add a column to calculate our cost of sales, right? And sometimes I do also advise, if you find that the name of your column is not really clear, because right now looking at this now, it's a bit confusing. You can decide to change the name of your column. Well, if you are analyzing for a company, you also want to consult with them just to check. Now, the essence of doing this is that so that even after working on this data set and you drop it, if somebody picks it up tomorrow, the person can be able to understand what is happening there and not have to have so much questions to understand what's happening there. Likewise, the sales. Sales should be my unit cost times my price. Sorry, not unit cost. My price times my order quantity should give me my sales. Tentatively, we can check that anyway. And the profit should be my sales minus my cost of sales. And now again, I see that, okay, this company seems to have done some promotion. Some of that includes the New Year promotion, Deeper promotion, Harmattan promotion, and so on and so forth. And this is telling me the type of promotion. So for this, we had the seasonal discount, New Year, which we all already know. Most companies tend to do, like, especially those that are into retail, grocery, stuff like that. They tend to like give like sales kind of, so that to entice people to buy more, right? So I guess this is what the company was doing at this point. And then I also see no discount. So what it means is that at this point, there was nothing like discount. So they sold at their original price, right? Now again, I see product name, manufacturer, brand name, product subcategory, product category, store name. Okay, nice. And store zip code, a state, city, zone, channel. Yeah. So we have an overview of what our columns are speaking to right now, right? This is telling me that they did not just make sales via store. There were also sales that were made online, some through reseller, some through catalog, and the rest. So yeah, I think we are good to go. And like I said, I just want to be 100% sure. I'm going to double check this cost of sales to be sure this is it, right? This is what they did here. So for this is again refreshing our memory. This is what we did last week. I'm going to try to create another column that speaks to what my total costs of products or items for each row is. And to do that, I simply need to multiply the unit costs by the unit order quantity. I'm going to stop again and ask, are we following? Is there any question? Are we good to go? Good. Thank you. Okay, so for us to add the column, this one I'm not going to do it for you guys. You're going to tell me because I know we did it last week. If I want to calculate this column, like multiply this column, which is the unit cost, with the order quantity, what do? I need a volunteer to guide me. I have my unit cost column, which speaks to the cost of each item or whatever it is for each, like the unit cost, right? And then I have the order quantity. Now I want to have an I want to calculate the total cost for each order, which simply means I need to multiply my unit cost with my order quantity to get the column, which I am assuming is this column, but we want to double check and be 100% sure this is what is happening here. So my question is this: how do we create that column that calculates this and this?
You can go to add column.
Thank you. Okay, I'm on add column right now.
Okay. Custom column.
Custom column. Okay, I click on it.
Okay, you can give it a name, maybe sales or revenue.
What? Name. What name? What?
You can say sales, total sales, or
okay,
revenue.
Remember, we're talking about the cost now, so maybe I call it total cost. Is that fine?
Okay, total cost.
Okay, good. And then what next?
Then you apply the column formula, which is
okay, I'm there.
Unit order.
You mean unit cost, right?
Unit
this
cost,
right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and then what next?
multiply.
Maybe times other quantity.
Okay. And what next?
Then click OK.
Okay. Now, before we continue, let me show us something so that these are just little things to pay attention to. Did you notice that when I had total cost equal to unit cost times, I was getting like an error message here, like it's telling me, okay, this is correct because you can decide to quit that. But like this, it's telling me, oh, there's an error here. Don't stop here, right? But the moment I clicked on other quantity, it's telling me no syntax error have been detected. So that's like also a way to check, okay, am I okay? Am I doing well? But then again, you need to be sure you know what you are doing. So unit cost times other quantity, and then I'll click on okay, right?
Yeah.
Who is helping me, please? What's the name?
Olusegun.
Thank you, Shegun. Okay, so we've been able to calculate our total costs, and this is what we have. And for our data type, you can change it now because it's just showing me as A, B, C, and 1, 2, 3. You can change it to decimal, which is what we want it to be, and that's good. Now, don't forget, we want to check this like, I'm going to move this so that I'll place it side by side with what I want to check. Move. Okay, this is it. Yeah. So I want to place it side by side, right? This is the cost of sales column, and this is the total cost. And like I said, okay, let me put, I think that this column should be equal to this column, right? But it's not good to assume. Sometimes you want to double check, right? And that is also one of your work as a data analyst, to always be sure. You shouldn't be saying I think, or I'm thinking, or I'm assuming. You should be sure of what you're saying, because people are banking on you to give them the accurate results. Now, I have this. Now, imagine if I'm going through this, checking this one by one to check if they're the same. I mean, literally, if you look at it, it seems to be the same, right? But how do I go through the whole of 15,000 rows to check if they're correct? Oh my God, you're going to go insane, to be honest. So the best thing to do is to also still use what we call like a conditional column application here, just to double check that this and this is correct. And for us to do that, I will simply just using the same method that Shegun used, but this time around, instead of going to choose custom column, I'm going to use conditional column. So I'm going to click on this column, and now it comes up, and then I can decide to rename it. I could say give it check, because I want to, like, it's like a check column for me. And then I'll say, what do I want to check? That's what do you want to check? I want to check that if what column name, what is the column name that I'm checking? I want to check the cost of sales. Yeah. Yes. And then it's asking me which operator this do I want to use. Is it equal to, or does not equal, or in this case, remember I'm talking about numbers here. So I should be dealing with equal to, because I want to check if that column is equal to any question. Okay, sorry, if I would like all of us to mute so that I don't get distracted along the line. I see I'm getting background. I was thinking it was a question. I'm getting background noise from somewhere. Okay, so if I will pick equal to, because that's what I want to check, right? And then it's going to ask me, okay, is it a value? If we wanted to check if where the column has maybe equal to 4, we could enter a value. But in this case, I'm checking a full column with it. So I'm going to select, I want to check it against the column, and then select the column that I want, which is total cost in this case. And then it doesn't end there. So I want to check if this is equal to this, then what happens if it checks? Now I'm going to tell it if this is equal to this, okay, then return, I want it to return a value, and I can say return 1, right? Else, if this column is not equal to this column, maybe you return a 0. So what it means is that if I say 1, that means this is equal to this. But if I see a 0, then is not the same, right? So that's what it means. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And that's our column. Now I'm going to check this column. I don't want to go down just to check for 0, right? And like I said, I'm seeing 1. What it means is that this one, I'm going to move this again just so that we are understanding what we're doing here, just to put it beside what we're comparing. Okay, I think this should be it. Yeah. So we are trying to compare these 2 columns. So what it's telling me now is that this column is telling me that this is equal to this. This is equal to this, and so on and so forth. So far, I've not seen 0. But instead of going down to check for 0, just by scrolling down and down to when I don't know, because this is like a large data set, right? I can just click on this drop down, and it gives me all the values that I have there. Now I'm seeing only 1, right? It simply means that the whole of this column has 1. And if I have 1 in all the whole of the column, in all the rows, what it means is that this is actually equal to this. So now I can go ahead and delete this. It has done its work. I can go ahead and say, please remove this column. Good. Now I'm 100% sure. I'm not guessing. I'm not thinking. Remove which one again? This one. This is the other one.
I'm sorry, Choma. Can you please take the conditional column again? I had a freeze on my side.
Okay. And I was so fast. Okay, no problem. I can cancel that. And yeah. So for the conditional column, what happened is that the same process that we followed when I worked with Segun. You go to your add column and you click on your conditional column, right? Now when you click on it, it comes up with something like this. This is what it comes up with. And then you now begin to check. First, you give a name to the column. Because we just want to check, I'll just give it the name check, right? And now, what do I want to do? What I'm trying to achieve is that I want to ensure that all the values that I have on the column that says cost of sales is equal to all the values that I have on the column that says total cost. Cost of sales was the column that we had that came with the data set, right? And total cost is the one we calculated. So we just want to double check that this is okay. Now, when you are selecting this, first and foremost, it tells you, okay, what do you want to do? What is the column name? You give it the column name, which is cost of sales. Now the operator. Now we have different types of operators that we can work with. Now, in this case, because we are looking at numbers, we're trying to compare the numbers, the values we have in cost of sales against the values we have in total cost. I just want to see if it's equal to. That's why I'm selecting the equal to. Right. If I'm not looking at, let's say we have to. This is another different scenario. We have 2 columns, and some of the rows have the same as what we have on the other second column, but some do not tally. Then we kind of want to like probe further and see, okay, where do we have values that do not tally with the 2 columns? That's when you get to use this. Or you are looking for a particular value. Maybe you want to look at those that have anything greater than 70. That's when you use this. So it depends on the scenario. Will determine the operator you want to use. But in this case, we want to use equal to. That's why I'm choosing the equal to. Now, the next thing is telling me, okay, what exactly are you looking at? Remember, in our case, is a column, and that's why I'm going to select a column. If it was the case of like the place that I talked about, greater than 70, it's just a value, so I can just say enter a value. But in this case, we're talking about a column, so I'm going to say I want to select it against a column. And then when you select it, it gives you options for all. So it brings out all your columns in your data sets so that you can choose the one that you want to check against the first column. Then what happens? Because Now, this is you calling the shots. Because I'm trying to say if this column is equal to this column, can you tell me if it's equal? Okay, let me give it a 1. Let it be a 1. But if it's not, then return your output as 0. So what I'm trying to say is that if I go on this check column now and I look at it, if I see a 1, I automatically know that cost of sales is equal to total cost. But if I see a 0, that means probably my cost of sales is 70.22 and my total cost is 80.22, and it's going to return 0. So that's what we did here. And that's where you have your 1 and 0. You can decide to change. You can decide to give it a different value. Maybe you can even say, put it a 0 and then 1. This is where you call your own shots, right? And then you say, okay. Once you click on OK, then you're good to go. That's what we did. And when we did that, I think this was it. Sure. When we did that, that's when we got this our column. Right, and that tells me, and like I said, instead of having to go down the rows just to look for your 0, you can just come on this drop down icon here. Normally this place gives you like all the values that you have on that row and on that column, and since I'm seeing just 1, it's saying that I just have only 1 on that column, and that means everything that I have here is 1. And what it means is that all the values that I have here on this column is equal to what we have on this column. So I am 100% sure now. If you ask me, what is cost of sales? I will say cost of sales is simply my order quantity multiplied by the unit cost. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you.
Any other question? You're welcome. Can I continue? Any other question? So I'm not looking at my chat. So if you want to speak, just unmute and then speak. Okay, so we continue. So, but now, since I'm sure I want to remove this column, I will just go ahead and remove it as well as this, because I can have duplicates column that speaks to the same. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove this column. Now, also for my sales, I'm assuming that my sales should be my quantity multiplied. Yo, why is this giving me an error? What's happening now? What did I do wrong? What have I done? Did I upset you? Okay, I don't expect that error from where? Okay, I think I have. I don't know what happened, but I will try and see what's happening here. I don't know why it suddenly went gagas. Okay, I just removed the column. So what is happening? I simply did this, remove. Okay, we are good now. So, yeah, so that's it. I also want to remove this column. I don't need it. Yeah, good. I don't blame Amarachi. This thing can be power. Like sometimes the power is just too much even for the system. Okay, so now we are 100% sure that our cost of sales is the same. Now, do we also want to check sales if it's the same? I mean, you can check that, but I can tell you what I see, because I see promotion and I see there's something like discount and no discount. I am not 100% sure that this sales is this times this. I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. But it seems like there was some form of discount that was done. And I'm sure if we calculate it, we'll see that some form of discount was done. So we can check it. We can, I mean, it doesn't affect. It's just, I'm just trying to like make you understand, like when you're looking at your data set, you should open up your mind to look at so many things, ask questions, like try to prove what is happening with this data set. What am I expecting? What should I look out for? What should I be worried? What should I be concerned with? Right? And at every point in time where you feel like, okay, I don't think this is it, you want to double check and be 100% sure that that is the case, right? So that's just what I'm trying to do here. We can check this, and I can tell you, I'm not sure it's going to tally, but because of time, I'm just going to continue with what we have, because this is not what we're just doing a recap of what we've done already. So now that I'm done with this, what I can go ahead and do now is to, looking at my data set, I think we're good to go. I feel like it's good to go. I'm convinced that I can work with this data set.
Can I ask a question, please?
Please go ahead.
Okay, because I've typed it in the chat, but since you said you are not checking the chat, this query section, that's column where you got valid error empty. I don't know how you went about it, that it's displayed, because on mine I couldn't display.
Okay.
It didn't display like this.
Okay, so if you remember when I talked about view, so you go to your view and the column quality. You select your column quality and then it pops up. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Any other question? Sorry, apologies. I'm even scared of my system now because of what I just experienced before we started the class. So I'm trying to minimize any going here and there that will upset the system. So if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute and ask. Okay. Thank you. Now, I'm going to continue. I think I'm convinced with my data set, and I think I can run with it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and load it into my Power BI. For us to do that, we looked at this last time. The option of close and apply, and then close. If we close, it simply means everything that I've done so far, just close it. Don't even apply it. Don't do anything. Just leave my data set where I brought it in the first time. That's the option. Apply means all the changes that I've done here, apply it, but do not close my Power Query. Remember, we're in our Power Query editor now. Our Power BI is still on. It's still running, and the desktop is still on. But I would say sometimes best practice, it's optional. It's what you want. It's what you feel safe with. If you have different monitors, you can afford to open them on different and then still go back and forth. But normally I would go and say, close this Power Query and apply all my changes to my Power BI desktop. So I'm going to click on this option and wait for it to apply all the changes that we have done. And if you look at the screen, it's showing that it's loading. Once it's done, it will tell us that's done. And so we have our 15,000 rows loaded into our Power BI desktop. And if we go at the data pane, we can see all the columns that we were looking at initially, right? All the columns we were dealing with. The brand name, channel, city, cost of, and the rest, so on. Now, if you remember, I said when we come to this place, I'm going to show something with regards to order ID. We remember we left it as number as our data type. And I said, personally, when I'm working with that, I don't want to leave it like that, because Power BI, in as much is intelligent, it's still not 100%. It's still a machine, right? It's still a device. It's still a whatever. What do you call it now? So somehow that's where your own human distance, because what it means is that if by chance I mistakenly click on order ID in my visualization, it can just go ahead and calculate all the order ID that I have there, because this sign that you see here speaks to arithmetic operation of summation, right? It can go ahead and just do a sum on all the other IDs, which doesn't make sense. That's not what we're dealing. Order ID is just an ID. It's not a number in the sense that we're calculating or adding or doing anything, right? So, like I said, I would prefer not to give it a whole number data type. I would rather leave it as a text. so that it's not doing the summation for me. And for us to do that, if you don't do it on your Power Query, you can still do it on this place. Just click on this, and then it opens up your column tools. And this is our order ID that we want to start, the column we want to speak to. We simply want to change our data type to what? For me, I want to change it to text, so that if by chance somebody clicks on that, it doesn't do like a summation thinking that there are numbers that needs to be worked on in terms of calculation. So that's what I was saying when I said when we come to this pane, I'm going to show us. But if you notice, every column that had a number on it is showing me the summation sign, right? So that's it for that. Now we can go ahead and start our visuals. We have already done visualization. Last week we did that with Madam Franca, and we looked at different types of visuals and when we can use them. So I will just, because of, we are still going to what we are going to do for today, but this is just a build up for us to get where we are, right? So I'm just going to try one or two visuals and then we go to our topic for today, okay? And I can start with, most times I like to work with profit. Every company, they're after their profits. That's like one of the main things. Their sales, their profits, because that's one of the things that keeps the company going, even though those are not the only things that you should look out for. But I'm just starting with that so that we start to appreciate our data set more. I'm going to click on my profits, and I want to see my profits by, I know we have order date here. Where is my dates? Where are you? Okay, good. This is my dates. Yeah, I want this. So I want my order dates. Right? Some of my profit by order dates. What are you doing? Let's increase this. I'm going to increase this, my hierarchy, okay? Yeah, it's okay. Give me the whole thing. Let me take a look at that, and then let me work with that. Okay. Okay, that's fine. It's even good we're starting with this visual. So now, I have my profits by year. So what this visual is telling me is that it's giving me the profit for each year that we have done this business. Looking at my visual, I see that we have done this business for the past, for 4 years now, starting from 2011 to 2014. That's the data set we have. And these are the profits we made for each year. So for the year 2011, we had 737,000. All right. That's the profit we made for that year. For 2012, that's the profit, 11,949,468. Same for 2013 and same for 2014. Now, that's the profit we made for each year. If you look up here, you can see that we have like some kind of funny icons, right? This one says drill up. This one says drill down. And this one says go to the next level in hierarchy. This one says expand all down one level in the hierarchy. And these are normal, filter, and the focus and the rest. This is not, I'm just concerned with this four. Now, if you go on my data pane, I'm trying to check my profits against, right now I'm on the year. But if you look here, you see like there's like a date hierarchy, right? This is kind of under modeling, which is not covered for this, it's like the next, when we do the next cohorts, the intermediate class, that's when we're going to do modeling and go further down into that. But just to give you an understanding of what's happening, it's simply telling me that I have an hierarchy. So in my hierarchy of my dates, we have the year, which is like the topmost. And then if you come to year, we break down into quarter, and then from quarter into month, and from month into days, right? That's what's happening here. it has kind of automatically done this for me. Now, because this is in hierarchy, it's telling me that on the first level, the top level, the high level, I will see my profits by year. But if I want to go further down to understand what is happening for each year, I can still do that. And that's because I'm selecting the hierarchy. If I unselect this, let's say I unselect this and unselect this, and I'm just on year, it will just give me information for just the year, profit by year. If you notice, those icons are no longer there because it's strictly looking at the data sets that speak to the year and my profits. But if I want to drill down, which is a very good practice as a data analyst, because you want to be, most times you want to be comparing data over a period of time, right? You want to be comparing it over time, right? To understand, okay, what is the pattern? What is the trend? What is happening? What do I look out for? What is happening here? To understand better what is happening with the whole data, right? It's good to have something like this, right? Now, I'm going to drill up again because what has happened is because I have drilled, I have kind of added my quarter, my month, my day. That's why you have it like this, right? And what it means is that if I scroll now, this data set, where it is now is giving me by day. If you look closely, you see that my y-axis speaks to the sum of my profit, while my x-axis speaks to my day. So what is happening now is that it's giving me information for all the days that we have recorded in our data set. This is like the very last detail of what my data set is up to. So I can see all of that now, right? But I mean, sometimes you don't want to look at this whole thing like this. You want to be looking at the top level so that you can now decide to drill down to see what's happening. Now, that's where our drill up comes up. So because right now I'm at like the very, very basic, the detailed, very, very detailed part of the analysis, I want to go up to my year, right? That's where my drill up is very important. So I start to click a drill up. It goes up to months. So now you can see your months: December, January, February. I think I need to expand this a little bit so that it's, yeah, I think it's fair. So you can see December, January, February, March, April, May, like that. That's when I have drilled up from my dates to my months. If I drill up again, I'm going to see quarters. So I see quarter 4, quarter 1. So now, even without being told, I know that this business started in the Q4 of 2011 and up to Q4 of 2014. Then I drill up again, and then I have my years. So I see my 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014. Now, even without doing much already, I now understand something. This data was gathered for 4 years, but for 2011, it was like a partial info that we had. So probably that's when they started. I know that they started in Q4 of 2011, and I have my data set up to the Q4 of 2014. So that's where I drill up. So you now understand what drill up is all about. It's just going a level further up in the hierarchy for your data, for your visual. Now, for the drill down, if I click on this now, we are in 2011. I might want to say, okay, what is happening with this year? I see that for the past 4 years that we've been doing this business, this one is quite understandable that we started in Q4, so that's why we don't have much happening here. But 2012 is like when we did the biggest cash for our business, and after that, it seems like we're now going down again. So what's happening? Like, let's even understand what happened in this 2012. Okay, what really prompted this? Is it what happened? We want to drill further down on 2012. I can decide to now click on this. Oh, what did I do? No, I don't want you to give me data. So I can decide to now drill down on this 2012. And for me to drill down, I need to click on this. Once it's like this, once it's in this format, like in this icon is like this, it turns to black, a big circle, and then an arrow down in the middle. It means that I'm good to drill down. I can now go on the year. Which year do I want to drill down on? 2012. I click on that. Now, what this thing is showing me is that it's showing me information about my 2012. So I see my quarter 1, my quarter 2, 3, 4. If you look closely, seems like almost its 3 quarters are almost the same, but they're not the same. I mean, if we increase our units values in our, you will see the over. But looking at it, thankfully we have our 2T that helps us to see what's happening. So for Q2, we have a profit of 3,137,721 that was made for Q2. And for Q3, 3,116,000 something. And for Q4, we have, so now I see, even in my 2012, I had the most sales in what do you call it, for the quarter. So I can still drill further down to see what is, I can still drill further down to see what's happening with my Q2, right? When I had the most sales, most profits, not sales. So I don't want to confuse you. Sales and profit are not the same. I can make a lot of sales, but yet my profit might not be so much. Because sometimes, let me give us an example. I'm going to break it down as much as I can. Say, for example, I a supermarket, and I sell refrigerators and in that same my supermarket is situated in front of, maybe not so far from it, from a school. Now they pass through my supermarket and they buy books. So most likely every day I might sell 1 book, if not dozens of books, right? And I must sell pen, I must sell pencils. So if you go on my record sheets where I'm documenting my sales for the day, you find out that every blessed day I have made sales for my books, pen, pencils, and so on and so forth. Now I sell these books and pens, so maybe pen might just be, I'm just giving a random. This is not true picture. This is just a random thing. My pen, I might just be selling it 10 naira, 10 naira, right? And maybe the unit cost of that pen for each pen was maybe says, let's even say 8 naira. And then I sell it for 10 naira. What it means, I'm making again a profit of 2 naira, right? But I'm selling, like every day I'm selling something. So maybe in a week, the profit that I make from selling just the pens, irrespective of the fact that every day I sell maybe like up to 10, maybe by the time I calculate my profit in a week, I might just be getting profits, 1,000 naira profit. Now I'm using naira because Nigeria is like our case study here, right? And that same shop, we sell deep freezers. And my deep freezer, I buy it, still assumption, I buy it, say 100,000. That's the unit cost. But I sell it 150,000, right? In a month, I might just sell 1. In fact, I might not even sell anything in 1 month. Maybe in a quarter, I will just sell 1. But I have made a profit of 50,000. Follow me. Now, my pen that I've been selling, like I sell every day, I can have a profit of, in a month, let's even say in a quarter, I have just made a profit of 20,000. On my fridge, my deep freezer or whatever, that I sold just 1, I made a profit of 50,000. Now, do you see the difference now? If you look at it, in terms of sales, I'm making more sales with my pen, but in terms of the freezer, in terms of profit, I've made more profit with just selling 1 item. So I'm just trying to differentiate. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to differentiate between sales and profit so that we don't confuse those 2 terms. So back to what we are looking at. We're looking at our profit here. So for 2012, I hope I did not lose anybody. For 2012, which is the year that we had our biggest biggest profits, I have drilled down and I'm seeing that we had the biggest profit for Q2, right? Now, in this Q2 now, I'm still drilling down. I can see that for Q2, we have the highest profit made in the month of April, right? I can still decide to drill down on this April again. And then I see for the month of April 2012, with the sales that we made, the profit that we made. So I can see on day 3 we had like almost a profit of 67,000. So now don't forget your job as a data analyst. You're trying to understand something. So now I'm beginning to understand better. Okay, this I wasn't there, but the data is telling me this, so I'm picking up this information, and it's like an up and down movement, up and down movement, up and down movement, like that, right? Because we're already on day, there's nothing to really drill down to again, right? So I can now start to drill up again, and then I can decide to go to another year and still do what I've done on 2012. That's the essence of the drill down. Right? Once you're done with your drill down, just remove this. Once you remove this, then you're no more drilling down. Now, for this icon, it says go to the next level in the hierarchy. Remember I said for a hierarchy for this, now we have the year, quarter, month, day. So what it means is that if I click on this man, it should go to the next level of hierarchy. Right now, we're on the first hierarchy, which is like the year. If I click on this, it takes me to the next hierarchy, which is quarter. Click on it again, takes me to months. And then click on it again, it takes me to the days. And then I can also drill up again. Now this, yeah, we're back on here. Now for this is like what this is doing, but this time around expand, like give me more details. So if I click on this now, it's going to take me to the quarter. But notice that now it's telling me for each quarter what I've made. So for 2011, this is it. For 2012, this is it. For 2013, this is it. This is and that. That's it. Then if you do again, it's showing like everything for the months from 2011 to 2014, and then finally to the very last part of it, which is the days. So now I see that this business actually started, when they started doing their data gathering and records and everything, was officially on the 6th day of December 2011. And the last info we have here is on the 30th. Yeah. Is on the 5th of December 2014. Are we clear? Any questions?
Please, can you take it again? I'm trying to get the difference between those two icons. I'm not saying I don't understand the difference. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Okay. Now I'm on this icon, right? This last one, which is like the difference between the two is that if you go with this gives you like the details while still going down the hierarchy. So let me start all over again. So right now we are in our year, right? Now if I go with this, it's taking me to the next hierarchy, and after year the next hierarchy is quarter. But this time around, it's not going to do a summary of the quarter and give me summation of the quarters. It's just going to give me the further details in terms of the years. So what it means is it's going to get this 2011 and give me all the quarters there. 2012, all the quarters there. 2013, same, and that's for 2014. So if I click on this now, I see 2011. I see quarter 4. I see 2012. I see quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3. So I see that for the profit of so if I'm going by quarter for all the sales that we've done, with all the profit that we've made, I can see that for my quarters, I had the highest profits in quarter 2 of 2012, quarter 3 of 2012, quarter 4 of 2012, and also quarter 2 of 2014. These are like the top ones, right? Go down again, it gives me the next hierarchy, which is months, but this time around it's still giving me for each year. So for 2011, I just have my December, which is, we already know that. But for January and for 2012, when we had the highest number of profit, right, made by the company, I see from January to December. And if I'm trying to like understand what's happening here, I see that for the month of April, it seems like when we had the highest, followed by the month of November, So for these 3 months, remember when we even checked our by quarter, in terms of okay, I'm still going to that. I'm going to go back to that. But if we look at this now, I can comfortably say that oh sorry, this is even March. March is like the highest, so sorry. So I can say that March, April, and what's this, June and November. This is November, October and September, and which one is this? August. Is this August? No, this is July. These are like when we were balling, right? These other months, I don't know what is happening, but yeah, that is my duty to understand what's happening there, right? But for this month, I think we were doing very well. Now, remember, when we even do this sum, it seemed like quarter 2 was stopping, right? But that's when we drilled down. But can you see that we had the highest sales actually batch? But because we were doing like by quarter, these other 2 months that I don't know, probably that was when they didn't, of course, they didn't have the highest number of profits. Maybe they never, so maybe for this month, using the example that we used, for this month, it was the normal way that they were doing your sales, but in March, they maybe made a sale of the deep freezer we referred to, and then our profit just went up, whoop, with 50,000. Meanwhile, this were just the normal, this thing, we didn't make any sale that was outstanding when it comes to profits, but we were making sales, right? But for the month of March, we now had one major item product that we sold that the profit margin was actually much, and then it shoot up our profit this thing. So that could be what is happening here, right? But if we look at second quarter, which is April, May, June, I mean, our destiny is not bad at all. It's almost like the same range if you look at it by range. Same with October and November. So for October and November, it was good, but December, And then if you go to September, which is also good, but this August somehow affected this quarter. So that's why you are seeing this. That's the difference. So basically, what I'm trying to say is this takes you to the next level and still gives you details. But when we go with the next, I'm going up again. If we go up with this, it doesn't give me details, but it gives me the hierarchy. So what it means for all the quarters for the 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, for Q1, this is the profit we made. For Q2, this is the profit we made. For Q3, this is the profit we made. And for Q4, this is the profit we made. It's not going into...
You mean the bar chart we are viewing now is like collapsing from year 1 to year 4, quarter 1, quarter 2. Am I correct?
Yeah. So okay. What it means is that if I add up my quarter if I add up what I have for Q1 of 2011, Q1 of 2012, Q1 of 2013, Q1 of 2014, this is what I have.
Okay.
Same for this. Same for this. Same for this. So this is just giving us like a high level, but still going down by the hierarchies. But this, what am I doing now? This will give us further details.
So if I want to know instead of quarter for the whole year, for different years, what if I just want to know for a year, like the total sale for a year? Like, can I get to see that? As against,
okay, so don't forget we are talking about profit here. So that we are talking about profit here, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay. Now go with your question again so that I follow you.
Okay. So I said instead of as against just quarter 1 for the 4 years, what about if I want to know just a year?
Okay.
The
so
total
you want to
for the total profit for a year, sorry.
For just a year. Okay, this is even giving us total profit for each of the years. So right now, I'm on sum of profit by year, right? So this visual now is telling me for the whole of 2011, we made a profit of 737,000, yeah. For the year 2012, we made this. For the year 2013, we made a profit of 9,838,662,000, and the same for 2024. We made a profit.
I think what David meant to ask was that if we want to like visualize, like just for maybe, for example, 2011, and it should display for the months, just that visualization, not for the 4 years.
So this, just this.
Yes,
You want to
or
see
any of
everything that's
the
happening
year.
there?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go with 2013 now.
Okay.
Remember this. Okay, so what I didn't say at the beginning is that we are using just one visual to see so many things that are happening at the same time, but going down by different different hierarchy, right? So
Yes.
if I'm going back to what you just said, for 2013, I already know. Yes, so we did a profit of 9,838 and whatever you have there, right? But you are saying now, I want to see just for 2013 the different quarters. That's what I understood from your question,
Yes,
right?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Now you click on, you're trying to just drill down on just this particular year. That is when this is useful.
Okay.
And for you to use that, you need to click on this to make sure it's on. Once it's like this, that means we are good to go. Now you can go on the year that you want to drill down. In this case, we want to drill down on 2013. So I'm going to click on that. Now, see what is happening now. We're still on our profit, but look at our x-axis. It's just speaking to 2013. And it's just showing us the quarter. So for Q1 of 2013, I made a profit of 2,205,196.98. For Q2, this is the profit that I made. For Q3, this is the profit that I made. For Q4, I mean, all these things that I'm doing here, instead of using your tooltip, you can, but we're not doing visualization today, so that's why I don't. If not, you can go on this and put on your data label to see what's happening with all this, right? Put on your data, and then it tells you this is it. This is what I have made so far for each quarter for 2013. Now, let's say this Q4, I even want to say, okay, what is really happening with Q4? I want to go further down on Q4. I click on it again. And then it gives me, remember your Q4 is October, November, December. Now it's giving me the information for the 3 months. And now I can see, okay, what actually even boosted my profit that month was November. You want to now check, okay, what happened in this November? You can still click on it. Now I see that this particular day is just outstanding. So I can now go back and say, what happened? What did we sell on 14th? Maybe when I now check and I say, oh, we made a sale for the deep freezer that was really, or some other item that is really, really, or, or the turnover. I mean, it could even be just a turnover that even with the little margins, we sold so much that day. Maybe there was an event that happened and people were just trooping in and out. And because of that, our profit margin just went off. So now you're beginning to, okay, this day was so outstanding. What happened? You begin to ask your questions, your whys. What happened there? Why is this like this? Why you understand what I mean? So that's what's happening here now. So this is just the benefit of this 4 icons that we have here. Is this clear now?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Welcome. Any other question so that we can move on to the next thing? Okay, I think we're good. So I'm just going to move on to, I will just duplicate this because, okay. Now, what else do I need to touch before? What is our time? We have spent, hey, Franca, Madam Franca. Hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Please help me with time because I don't want to keep people too long, and
okay, yeah,
even though I'm not even started what we're supposed to do.
Almost so it's 7:39.
Oh my God. Okay. I will try to squeeze what we have remaining in the few minutes that we have. Okay, so now my thing for the day. We want to look at syncing sliders. We're going to look at definition, the purpose of Power BI sliders, and then go through buttons and how these are so beneficial for us. And then we'll go ahead and continue with our mobile optimization and Power BI. Okay, and we'll do them on all this. So basically, what are slicers? Slicers are in Power BI are visual filters that allow users, I'm just going to read out what I have here and then explain, that allow users to segment and filter data dynamically within a report. They enhance the interactivity and usability of reports by enabling users to focus on specific subsets of data quickly and easily. I'm going to still explain this when I go to the demo. Okay. And drill through. Somehow we've already started doing drill, but what we just did was the drill up and drill down. But drill through means it's a powerful feature that allows users to navigate from a summary view of a data to more detailed view. So I'm just going to give this example. Remember the way we were able to drill from the year to the day, months, quarter. You can have sometimes when you're dealing with reports, maybe you just want to give, it depends on the way you're working on with your reports. You can make your reports in such a way, and that is where it starts to become more interesting. You're making reports in such a way that you have a page that gives like an overview, a summary of what your report is all about. Then if somebody now wants to understand, okay, let me understand better what's happening. Why, just like the year that we're just looking at and the profits, if you now say 2012, you can even say, oh, why is 2011 so low, right? You can now drill through to another report page that you have that speaks to just 2011. And when you go there, you're gonna say, oh, I see why we really had very low profit. For that year, we just sold for just December. That explains why. Because if you notice, the margin between that year and the other years was just so much. So somebody that is not in the system, somebody that just came from outside, that is just trying to understand and not be like, why is this so low? Can you tell me? You can drill through to that page where you have all those details. That's what drill through is all about. That's the long and short of the whole grammar. And then we have buttons in Power BI. If you go on your Power BI, I'll show us when we get there. We have different buttons, the left arrow, the right arrow, the reset, back, information, and the rest. We're going to try and cover some. I don't think we're going to cover everything, but I'll try my best to cover much. And then what is the benefit of all this? It's just, so first, for slicers, Slider is just more like filtering. It just helps us to filter down. So you can have, I'm still going to use example of what we're just working with. You can have a slicer that speaks to the different years. If I click on 2011, let my whole reports show everything that has to do with 2011. If I click on 2012, let my whole report show everything that has to do with 2012. Likewise, if I click on, let's say, let me even use another thing. Let me say, what will I use now? I remember we had channels, different channels of sales. I know that when we were looking at the website, we saw the online, we saw the store, I think we saw catalog, and then one other thing, I can't remember now. But with Slicer, you can so Slicer just makes your life easier. So instead of maybe having to you can just use a Slicer and click on it. But today we're not just going to look at using Slicers, we're also going to see how we can sync it so that if you have a report, if you have a report that has different pages, you can sync your slicer so that if I click on 2011 on one page, it shows on all the pages. I don't have to go to all the pages to keep clicking 2011, 2011, 2011. You understand what I mean? So we're going to do that, and then, I think that's it. I don't have much for we're going to do more of demo. So I'm going back to my Power BI, and now we have, let's say, we have this visual we've already created. I'm going to try to minimize. Let me see if I can bring in another visual so that we can start to appreciate the use of our slicers and the rest. So I'm going to, So I can go here and bring in another visual. This, we already have profit by year, or I can go in and bring in another visual that speaks to this promotion. I'm so interested in the promotion, so I'm going to take it. So I can look at this promotion. Let me understand what's happening with this promotion. And I can still talk about profits. Let me see, is it that the promotion brought in more profit or whatever? Let's see. It's coming in as a data, but I'll keep it as a data, no problem. So there's another, okay, so small. Move to this side. Let me try to increase it so you see what is happening here. I do have my values. Okay. Is it better? You can see it better now, right? Let's see if I can increase this. Okay. Yeah, this should be fine. Okay, so I am bringing in another visual now, and I'll still bring in another visual. I'm just trying to create more visuals so that we can work with it, and then we can come in with our slicers and stuff like that. I'm going to bring in another visual here. Somebody give me what do you want to see in your report? Okay, let's see. Can we do? Let me even use that channel we're talking about. Where's the channel again? Let me see the channel that brought in more. So this time around, let me even do sales instead of doing profit. So the channel that brought in more sales. Where's my sales again now? Sales, where are you?
Give me more than. Cover. Shut the water.
Please mute your mic.
Hey, sorry.
It's okay. Okay, so I can make this. What visual do I use for this? I mean, I can use the pie chart if it's gonna make sense. Ooh. Okay. Just looking at this pie chart, I can see that for store we had more sales, and for the next one is online. And then followed by reseller and then catalog. Okay, let's use this visual. I think it's okay. And then, I mean, I want to change this. Instead of profit, let me use sales instead. I'm going to remove the profit and put sales so that this is speaking to sales. Yeah, seems like my sales is almost, let me drill up again and see. My sales is just very similar to my profit. That's okay. Well, that's it. So, so when you're doing your project, just try and play around with this. Try to see, just come up with different visuals. The more you come up with visuals, try to understand your data set better. So I will just rename this profit so that it's going to help me keep track of what I'm doing. And I'm going to name this sales. Okay. What else can I do? I mean, I can work with this too. Or I can try to bring in a map because I see state here. I see states. Do I do states? Oh, yeah, I can do states. Okay, good. So I have a map that speaks to my state. So what is happening here is that, okay. So what is happening here, if you notice, we see some, remember this data set is kind of limited to Nigerian states, zones and everything. And now I say this is, what's the name of this map again? You call it field map, yes. This blue is just highlighting all the places that we had our sales. So I can say that we don't have anything in Mina, Jalingo, just this part. But this other part shows the different parts of the states that we had our sales. So this time around, we'll just use, I don't know, I can call it, I don't know, location, maybe, yeah. Okay, so going back now, I am trying to introduce slicers now, right? And I'm drilling up, I want us to be on the first level. So, and slicers, this is what we call slicers. In fact, we have, I think this used to be the old slicer, and this is the new. This one is more. I'm sure with time they will take out this man, but this is more robust, right? It has more functionalities and stuff. It's more modified and everything. So I want to bring in my visual. I'm still going to, because of time, I'm still going to try and keep track, like still stay with what we already have. So I'm still going to use years for my slides. I'm just going to use year. Where is that date. I'm just going to use here for my slicer, right? And so this is my slicer. Now, like I said, my slicer, what it does is just like filtering for me. If I click on 2011, it should just give me information just on 2011. So what has happened now? Remember I had, I'm going to remove this. Remember I had profit by year, and then I had profit by the promotion, different promotion that we had. So in fact, we didn't talk about this vision. Let me just quickly talk about it. So if I'm looking at this now, I see that when we had the Adventist promotion, this is the profit that I made from it. Sorry, when we had the August promotion, this is the profit that I made. If you look at it, and okay, in fact, let me sort this. Okay, good. Now what I say is this: when I didn't have any promotion, this no discount means nothing was removed. I mean, yeah, that's what it means. When we still, like when we did our normal sales and everything, we made a profit of this. But then after that, we had the highest profits when we had the Adventist promotion, followed by Winners, Deeper, Xmas, and so on and so forth. So the list was more or less when we had our August promotion. But what I see is that I have a total sum of profit of this, and this is the distribution based on the promotion name, right? Now, this is my profit here by promotion name. This is my profit by year. My slicer simply is just filtering what I have, right? It's filtering what I have for each of this. So if I click on 2012 now, my slicer will just go ahead and bring out everything that speaks to 2012. So for 2012, I can say that I made a profit of 11,949,000. Likewise here, and I can see the distribution of my promotion, right? If I had another listing here, it will show me all I'll be seeing on my report is just for the year 2012. And that is the beauty of Slicer. Slicer makes it more, so instead of having to just, you know, the way we're drilling up and drilling down and everything, you can just use your Slicer, make life easy. Click on that. Let's say your manager is speaking to you about something like, okay, can we go on 2010? Tell me what's happening there. Instead of having to go and be doing that drill up and drill down and everything, click on 2013 and it will just bring up everything for you. So you even begin to appreciate this more. Assuming we had more visuals here, right? But it's okay. That's what we want to have. At least you're getting the whole gist about the whole thing. So now we have been able to create a slicer that can help us filter by year, and we can see what's happening on our reports. Now, our topic for today is how can we sync slicers. This slicer now, another beautiful thing about Power BI is the way I have this slicer now. Instead of having to go here and keep for each of the page and keep like putting the slicer, I can just copy this. I can just copy this, right? And go to this sales page. This is my sales page, and then I can just paste it, Control V. No need to paste it for me now. Power BI is saying, should I sync this visual for you? Sometimes Power BI makes your life very easy, you know. So it's just asking, oh, should I just go ahead? Let me save you the stress. Don't go ahead and keep doing the syncing and everything. You can click on sync. Once you click on sync, it syncs the two. So what it means is, once I click on 2013, if I go on this profit here, it will be on 2013. But I'm not going to do that because I want to show us how to do it. So I'm going to cancel. Don't sync. It's okay. Thank you. All right. So now I'm going to go back. Now that it's like this, because I didn't sync, watch what will happen. If I click on 2012, this information here gives me everything on 2012. If I go on sales, I'm still on 2013. Yeah, because that's what I chose when I was here, and I didn't tell it to sync. So it's not syncing. So this slicer is independent of the other slicer. But most times you find out that you want a situation where you sync and everything is like the whole page or the pages that you want to sync, right? So what you now do is that's when you think of syncing the slicers. So for us to sync our slicer, right, so that this slicer speaks to the other slicer, what I'll simply do, I'll go on my view. View, sync slicers, right? Sync slicers, yeah. So now this is the slicer where I am now. I don't even want you to be choosing this one you're choosing here. Just buff. So this is my slicer now. And now it's populating all the pages I have in this report. Right? And it's telling me I see a slicer here on profit. I see a slicer here on sales. I don't see any on location, right? So I remember we didn't put anything on location. That's why it's not saying it. Now I can tell it, okay, good. You see these slicers. Now what I want you to do, sync them for me so that they can talk to each other. So I go ahead and click on this, select this two. Now watch what will happen. If I go back on my profit, if I click on 2012, because it's synced now, if I go on sales, I should see 2012. Is it clear? Are we following?
Yes.
Okay, good. So if I go on this now, so if I choose 2013, I expect that if I go to sales, it should show me everything that has to do with 2013. So we have successfully synced this. Now, what if in a situation where, remember for location, we don't even have anything there. And then tomorrow I now decide, okay, no, I want to sync this page, right? I didn't even copy this thing to that place. The beauty about Power BI is that I can just go ahead and say, no, just do this. Still sync, and then even though I don't have this, put it there for me and then do the same for me. So if I go on location now, you see, I now have my slicer there. And it's doing the same thing for me. So for 2013, I can see the sales and everything. Okay? So that's another beautiful thing. In fact, to make it even more juicy, right? I want to sync my slicers, but I don't want to be seeing them if I go on each page, because the truth is that sometimes when you're doing your report, you want to maximize the space as much as you can. Because you find out that you have a lot to talk about and you don't want to be repeating something over and over. Imagine having slicers on all the pages. It wouldn't look nice. It's not bad, but then you want to save that space for some other report, right? So what you can do is you can still go back on these slicers and say, you know what, just don't make it visible on these two pages, but still keep it. So if I sync, if I click on 2014 on the first page, if I go on sales, my slicer is not visible anymore, but because it's synced, it's in the background running somewhere. Just like I cannot, so this time around I can use this space for some other reports. But if I click on this slicer here and just select 2014, when I go on the different pages, it should tell me a story about just my 2014. Okay, so that's another good thing about this. In fact, another beautiful thing you can do is, instead of you can even create a page for your slicers. So you just know it's strictly for slicers. So I'm just going to do this now. You can add a page. I would like to put it here because most likely you will be like, you want it to be at the beginning where, so that when you slice, you now go through the pages. So I can give this page slicer, right? And then create this here. Simply just copy this man here. Sync. Now, because we already understand what sync means, so I'll just go ahead and tell it to sync. So it's telling me, should I sync this with the other slicer that I have here and the rest? So it has done that automatically for me. So now I can now have this page just for slicers. In fact, you can even make it more beautiful. You know, if you go on your formats, your format is your go-to anytime to make your report look outstanding. So you can go on the format, choose anything. Right now it's in rectangle. You can decide to change anything you want. Just make it more eye-catching and everything. Put colors, just to make it to look better. And then now, since I now have a page for slicers, right? I can now remove this one here. Right, so I can just click on this now. Now I'm seeing that I have this slicer, so I can just remove it here. But everything is synced, so I can now use this pages, this extra space, to create other reports while I just go on my slicer. So your boss is like, okay, give me everything about 2013. I can click on this slicer here, and then I go through my pages, and then I'm seeing all the reports that speak to just and the information that speaks to 2013. So that is it for syncing slices. Any question at this point?
Yes, ma'am. Can you please go back to location and choose another year?
Location.
Yeah, so we see how that map changes. That's one. And then two, I didn't get to see how you made the slicer disappear. If you can take me.
I made the slide. Okay, disappear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm going to do for this so that you start appreciating, because it's possible for all this time this map was busy making sales, right? So that we can appreciate that. Maybe what I'll do, I'll try to do a filter so that you will see what's happening here. I'm going to love this man. I'm going to do a filter on this page, and we're doing where do we have here? So we do our states. So we're speaking to profit. Let's speak with profit here now. We're speaking to profits that was made for the year. But now let me say I want to see my top. You have done this last week. My top 10 states that are making profits, right? So I can go on my filter on this visual. So I want to filter on this visual, and I want to filter the states by the sum of profits. That's what I want to do. And what I want to do is that I want to, sorry, I'm filtering this state by the top profit that was done. So I'm going to go to on the states and select my top N. In this case, let's do top 10 states. Or 5. Which one? You can do 5. Okay. And then yeah. Well, by what field you want to filter? I want to filter by the profit. So I can move this profit here. Filter by the top profits. So top N, top 5, apply filter. So what it means is that, let me try to reduce this so that, okay. So what it means is that if you look at this now, for this data set, we had our top sales in this what do you call it now? Let me try to expand a bit. It's just that when I expand it, I can see that my top 5 states that I made my profit is Ebonyi, Edo, Delta, Kwara, Ogun State. These are the top 5, right? So if I go back to my slides now, let's see. You are asking me now if okay, I was even on 2011. So if I go on 2012 now, if I go back to my location, I should see maybe some changes. So for 12 now, I made this most in Ebonyi, Edo, Delta. Funny enough, it's still the same state, Kwara, and did you have Nasarawa in 2011? I can't remember now. I'll go back and check. So I'll go back. No. So for 2011, we had Kwara. We also had Kwara so since that this Kwara, they're really powering. And then we have, okay, now this is different. We didn't have Ogun for 2011. They didn't really, I don't know if I'm I'm confusing myself now. Okay, for 2011, the top 5 states that we had was Ogun, Kwara, Delta, Edo, and Ebonyi. But for 2012, we still had Ebonyi. Means Ebonyi is really doing well. Edo, Delta, these states are really doing well. Kwara even. But the difference now is that before we had Ogun, but now we now have Nasarawa. If we go 2013 and go back again, let's see what's happening again. Oh, Ebonyi is really powering. And Edo, Delta, Nasarawa, Kwara. So these 5 states for 2013 is the same with 2012. And 2014. So it seems like these states, they have come to stay and they're really doing well. They're not even smiling at all. But if we start to drill further down, let's say if we take it to top 10, maybe we can start seeing changes. But from the look of things, even without being told now, I can tell you that when it comes to sales and profit, these 5 states were really consistent. Then the other state I can add to my this thing is Ogun. Probably, I don't know, maybe when they started in 2011, Ogun was like one of the first places they had, you know, I don't know what happened, but yeah, that's it. So that's it for that. I don't know if I answered that question. I just want to be sure. I can't remember who asked the question, but did I answer your question?
Yeah, she did. So the second part, yeah.
Remind me, what's the second part again?
The filter disappear. The
okay,
slider,
good. So how did we remove the slicers? So if we go back on our, so I'm going to collapse this again. If we go back on our slicer pane, I'm going to select this so that my this thing comes up. So this is our slicer pane, and these are the different pages that we had, right? Right now, what I can see is that my slicer is synced with all the pages, but I can only see my slicer on the first one, which is the slicer page. If I select this, it becomes visible on the profit. If I go on my profit now, I'm going to see my slicer there. That's it. But if I don't want it to be visible, which is, to be honest, that's the best practice, just use the slicer one place and use it to control everything so that you can use that space for some other thing. I will simply go back on that slicer and then click on this. Once I uncheck this, it makes it invisible, but then it's still running in the background. So that's it. Yeah, I think I've answered that question. Any other question? Now, I don't even know what to do. We have 2 minutes to go. And I'm here to show you drill through, which is not so much again. But for the buttons, I know we're going to take time. What do you guys advise? I don't want to keep anybody beyond the time because our time is normally 1 hour, 30 minutes to 2 hours. Already we have used up to... Sorry?
We're ready to stay we're ready to stay, please.
Okay, you are ready to stay. Let me see others.
Yes.
Now I think I'm going to go back to my teams. Hey, where are you?
Very interactive, I beg.
We're going to look at drill through, right? And drill through, like I said, okay, so 1 or 2 things I need to, oh my God, somebody's distracting me.
I'm sorry. I want to ask a question.
Okay, please go ahead.
Concerning the slicer, because I noticed that, you know, the sheet that we created, the slicer sheet that we created, we've already put slicer. So now my question is it possible for this slicer not to have effects on any of these other sheets? I mean, if we are going to do it in a way that it will not affect the profits, but it will still affect the sales, is it possible to do that?
Oh, yes. Oh, I like that. That's a very good question. Yes, 100%. So you are saying that I want this slicer to affect my profits, my location, but I don't want it to affect my sales. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Good. Okay, so we go back to this. Now, because all these are checked, it's saying that I want you to sync all the slicers here to what is, so if I make any change here, it should affect all these pages. But right now you are saying, I don't want it to affect my sales. Please leave my sales alone. It should just stay the way it is. Just uncheck this. So, and then it's now this slicer. Remember we had this that we hit before. So it's even asking you, okay, do you want to keep this slicer here? Because what it has done now, it has gone ahead to put that. So if I go my sales now, right? Let me go to sales. I'm seeing my slicer there. But now this slicer is not conforming with, so let me even go back again. Right now I'm on 2014, right? Let me go on 2012. And let me go on sales. Are you seeing what's happening? That slicer on the slicer page is no longer affecting this page because it's no longer synced with that other slicer. So I can now use this slicer here to do my own, whatever I want to do here and get what I want. But what if I don't even want slicer again on this page at all? I don't even want, don't affect, just leave my sales the way it is, right? You can go ahead and remove it. Just uncheck it. So what it means right now is that
Sure.
I don't have slicer on this page here. The slicer I have here is not affecting this page. This page is just weight. But for every other page, my slicer here is affecting it. I think I answered that question.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Okay, so that is it for the slicers. Any other question? Remember, we have time that we're trying to keep, but I'm better off if you understand what you're doing than to rush. I mean, we have another week that we can still do this, so that's fine. Okay, so let's go to drill through. Now, like I was saying, with drill through, right? How do I explain it now? Drill through gives, like the definition we had there, the visual that will drill through to the other one gives like a summary of what's happening there. Why the one we will drill through to will give like details of what's happening. Okay, I'm trying to see the best way to explain it. So most times when we're dealing with drill through, it has to do with something that is kind of linked, that have kind of similarity, I would say. Okay, I think hierarchy is the right word. Yeah, hierarchy. So I can easily drill through with the year, but I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use another thing because I see state here. I see zone. I see city. Okay, let's do this. I'll create another page here. Now on this page, I'll still work with my maybe profit. Yeah. Oh yeah, I can do still work with my profit. Yeah, I can work with it. Yeah. So I see. Or if let me just create a new thing. Let me create something now. I'm going to create a visual that speaks to my zone. 1 minute, I just want to look at my data set again just to be sure. This is zone. So I see based on our sales or order, because we are dealing with order here. Based on our orders, I can see that we had it's grouped by city, state, city, and zone. So let me work with these three because I understand that Bauchi is under Bauchi State, yeah, which falls under North East. Good. This is a very good example. So now I can, just like what I was saying about hierarchy, if you from zone you go to state, and from state you go to city. So now let me do a report. I just want you to follow me. Let me do a report that speaks to zone at the high level, and then I'll create another report that speaks to state and city so that we can drill through from our zone to our state and city. I'll go back to my report view. So now I'm going to create I also use profits. I mean, I can use sales, anything, just anything, sure. I'll still use profit and then zone. So I want my zone and profits. Where's the profit taken? Okay, here. Profits. I don't want this kind of. Let's see. Let's use another. Yeah, I think this should be better. Yeah, let's do this. So now, if you look at this, this is why so should be better now. So if you look at this, you should see that I have all the zones. Remember, Nigerian is the case study for this data set. So I see Southeast, South, North Central. These are like the geopolitical zones in Nigeria, and then our FCT, right? And then I'm seeing the profit. So what I can see, just looking at this, is that I had more profit for this zone, which is Southeast, followed by South, followed by North Central, Northwest, and so on and so forth. FCT is understandable. Remember, it's just one thing there, so that's fair enough. Okay. Now, this is our zone. I'll just call it zone so that I know the pages where I am. So this is our zone, right? Now, I want to create another report that will speak to my profit by city and profit by states. So yeah, So I'm going to click on state and profit. Where are you? Okay. Oh, this is lovely. Like this. Okay, so nice. This type of visual. Hey, pardon me. Let me check the name. It's a map. Okay, the other map is field map. This one is just the. There's a name they used to call, but I can't remember now. It's just a map, but this is just showing me the map of Nigeria, and now telling me the profit. Now, when you see all those big bubbles, it means that we had more profit here, which is Ebonyi. Yo, see the profit that we had there, followed by Ilorin. We had, if you remember the other location map where we had Kwara, those top, you see we had more profits there. So that's what is showing you. So for Ilorin, which is in Kwara, we had much profits. Same with Delta, I guess. So these are those states we were seeing as our top 5, if you remember. Now, yeah, that's it for this. I'm done with this visual, right? And then I want to create another visual that will speak to my city and profits. My city and my profits. I don't want this again. Please give me another visual. Oh my God. Give me the table, maybe. Okay. Let's make this more interesting. Why not put let me even bring in my state here. No.
Can you use the line and stack?
Can I use what?
The line and stack.
The line and stack, the visual. You mean the visual line and stack?
Yes.
Is this what you mean?
Yes.
It not go good here. Okay. Line and stack will work better if we are also looking at over time. I don't know if you understand. So that the line will also depict the time. So it's showing us something good, but I wouldn't use this if I'm working with a report. Unless I want to bring in a factor that has to do with time. Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But
time now. How about the quarter that you should, is that not time?
Where's the quarter?
I mean before.
The quarter. How do you mean?
You go to sales. When you go to sales or profit over time.
Oh, you mean the time we used here?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. I will use this. So this is not bad. I mean, it's giving me the information I want. But how do I explain this so you get my this thing here? And I don't want to start wasting our time here.
We don't want just
so right now I'm seeing my column charts, but I want to introduce my line. I would need to bring in another axis for this, right? That's when we appreciate this stack and line. But I don't want to double into that now. Otherwise, we can, in fact, you made a very good suggestion because we are now speaking to profit, city, and here. What it simply means is that I need to introduce another secondary y-axis that will now take care of the line axis, the line chart. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So what I just did now, because you introduced what you call it now, the time, I have simply gone with matrix, so that matrix will give me more information because we're not dealing with 3 variables input. We're dealing with city, we're dealing with profit, and then we're dealing with the what do you call it now? The year, right? So this matrix now is now giving me further information. Like so for Aba, we made the city Aba, we made this profit, and this is the breakdown by year. Okay, and yeah, maybe we can work with this. So Back to what I was trying to illustrate. I was trying to see a situation where we'll drill through from our zone to this other page where we have our state and our city. So now, how do I do that? I go on my visualization pane and then I scroll down where you have add drill through fields here. And what we want is so that when I drill on that particular field, it gets me to this page. And like I said, the one we are looking at is the field that speaks to our zone. So I'm going to move this zone and put it here. And then, yeah, I've asked it to use it as category, right? So now what will happen is this. When I go on my zone, I can drill through to this page now. In fact, Power BI has automatically put like this back button for me. So this back button means when I drill through to this place, if I'm done, I can use this back button and go back to where I want. So I'm going to go back on this page, which is the zone. And then let's say Southeast now. I want to say, okay, we are saying that Southeast had the highest number of profits. Can I drill through and understand what's happening with Southeast? Now I can now right click on this, and then it shows me drill through. So drill through to where? Because I didn't rename this page, that's why it's showing me the name of the page, which is page 1. Remember, that is the page we linked this thing, so that when we drill through to it, right? So I can say drill through to this. When I click on that, it takes me to this page. Now, remember, I'm drilling through on Southeast. So all the information I'm going to get here will speak to just Southeast. So if I look now, I see for the Southeast, I had the highest say in Ebonyi State. Remember, Ebonyi is like the highest we've had so far. So what it tells me is that the state that we've had the highest is in Southeast. And that could even contribute to why we have Southeast as the highest number of, that has the highest number of profit, right? And then I see, which one is this one? Anambra. I see Enugu. I see Imo State. This should be Imo. And then I see Abia State, right? If I go on this visual again, it's going to be speaking to only the Southeast zone. So now I see Aba, I see Abakaliki, I see Enugu, I see what do you call it, Owerri. Now I can see different, like I can see the breakdown, the way it's happening, right? So that's it. Then if I want to go back to where I came from, maybe I'm done with Southeast, I want to go back and check another this thing. Now, okay, you see, I just made that mistake. I'm always making this mistake. If you just click on this, it's not going to work. You need to press down your control and then click on this for you to go back. If you're on your desktop, Power BI desktop, when you want to use your buttons, you need to use your control with it. But if you're on service, then you can just click, that's fine. It's going to work automatically. So now, if I click on my back, it brings me back to where I started. So I'm done looking at Southeast. Maybe I want to look at Northwest, right? I go back again, right click on it, and then say drill through to that same page. Now, what it means is that I can even have different pages that I'm drilling to, right? Say, for example, I wanted to drill to my profit or sales page. It will give me those options, but that means I must have set the drill through on those 2 pages so that when I drill but whenever I do your drill through, make sure that it's something that is making, you have to do something that is making sense. Like I said, I'm looking at the the zonal level, the zone level, right? So if I want to drill further down, what should be coming to my mind? I should be looking at, okay, if for this zone, I want to say, okay, which are the states that are doing better for me? Which state is really powering that zone for me? If I go to that state, I want to say, okay, oh, this state is doing well, Ebonyi State. Okay, can you tell me the city in that state that is really doing that? And can you give me like the details by the year, how they have performed? That's what this is doing for us. Is it clear?
Honestly, it's becoming an information overload.
I know. That's why I said let's stop. Okay.
Yeah,
So
try.
I think at this point, let's pause. We have another class next week. What will happen is the person that will take that class, I'll let the person know that the person has to start from here. And if possible, do like a recap, because I know right now it's like an information overload, so that we can still understand what's happening and not get confused. And I know over the course of the week when you're doing your practice, if you come along, like if you have any questions, if you encounter any issues, you can reach out and ask questions. Yeah, Jane. Go ahead.
Apologies for cutting in. I don't know if the data set you are using was shared, but I'll appreciate if you can share it with me or us on the chat, please.
So the data set I'm using, but I'm not 100% sure, I'll need to confirm with Madam Franca, was the same data set you people used last week. Madam Franca?
Yes,
do we have it
it's the same one I used last week.
Yeah, do we have it on
it's the same
Discord channel?
Yes, I think it's on Discord channel then. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
You're welcome.
It's the sales data set. Yeah?
Oh, Madam Franca, please, can you point to that data set for us, please? Can you point to it on the Discord so we can pick it up from there, please?
Okay, I'll check. All right.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that's it for today.